The second speaker for tonight, you guys. They are an author, motivational speaker, college professor, and career coach. They have officiated weddings for 2 former students, though they didn't marry each other. So that's, 2 separate weddings, you guys. Her talk is what it means to publish, the surprising lessons learned from self-publishing to landing a book deal. You guys give it up for Meg Myers Morgan.
My name is Meg, and I am the author of 2 books. My first book was a collection of essays that I published myself. It ranked #1 in its category on Amazon and received the gold medal for humor from the Independent Publishers Book Awards. My second book is a professional development book for women that comes out this December and was published by Seal Press, an imprint of the Hachette Book Group, one of the largest publishing companies in the world. So tonight I want to tell you a little bit about the insights I've had as a writer that's both self-published and traditionally published a book. In order to understand these insights, it's important to give you an image to help you visualize the difference between these 2 publishing tracks. So essentially, a writer to become a published author is like a tourist going to a different country for the first time. No one knows exactly what to expect except for what they've maybe seen or read on the internet. So a tourist essentially has 2 options for traveling in this new land. They can hire a tour guide or they can get a map and go it alone. So keep that image in your mind as I go forward with my insights. The first insight is you control the itinerary when you travel alone. With self-publishing, you can decide mid-morning that you want to publish a book, and you can have it for sale by noon. It's the kind of trip where you eat when you're hungry and you sleep when you're tired, and nobody gets in the way of you getting to do what it is you want to do. When I self-published my book, my only concerns were about which essays I was going to include, what was going to be the title, or who was going to design the cover, but I was never worried if I was going to get to be a published author. That was a trip I can take anytime I want to. Now, if anyone and everyone can take a trip anytime they want to, many, if not most people, will cobble together a very terrible itinerary. But a few will be diligent and thoughtful and put together a trip worth taking. The second insight I've had from publishing, self-publishing, and traditional publishing is that you see more sites with a guided tour. Now, let me think about that. You see more sites with a guided tour. So much like a tour guide can get you around to more sites, traditional publishing exposes an author to far more landmarks than you would see with self-publishing. So one great example is that the New York Times bestseller list doesn't count books that are self-published. To see that site, you have to get a tour guide. The itinerary for traditional publishing is far more packed and far more rigid. You have to get an agent who's got to be interested in you to help you polish your manuscript and get it into an editor who's interested. That editor then has to get the approval of the editorial board. Your manuscript has to go through multiple rounds of edits with multiple editors. Your book gets professionally designed, your cover gets debated, you've got to have sales and marketing coming up with a strategy, and legal has to sign off as a caution. So, legal has to sign off. What are we on? Oh, I'm far behind. So in the end, either way, it's your journey. So you are responsible as both the traveler and the writer for what you're going to put into this journey. It's your experience to put in, your attitude to bring, what you want to get out of it. And so if you're on a guided tour, you still have to participate. You still have to look around and raise your hand if you need to go to the bathroom, or ask the tour guide. Speak up if you think the tour is going off course. One of the things my friends were worried about when I got a book deal was that I would suddenly lose control over my writing, but this just wasn't the case. It's true that I have to get more buy-in from more people. I've had to defend some ideas that were great, and I've had to concede other ideas that weren't that great. But I don't think of that as the loss of control. I think of that as the addition of support. So whether I have the backing of a publishing company or I go this alone, these are my books, this is my writing, and this is my career. I built a lot of muscles with self-publishing around promoting. I was responsible for every book sale, and so it was on me to promote myself well and market myself as a writer. And with traditional publishing, I built skills around my craft because you were getting so much feedback from your editors. And so both forms of publishing got me into shape in different ways as a writer. In the end, what's important to understand is whether it's a self-guided tour or a traditional publishing, you're still trying to see the same destination. If you come up on the Colosseum in Rome, whether you've walked for 3 miles with a tattered map in your hands, or you've ridden up on a Segway with a tour guide using a microphone, it's still the same site. The path is different, the experience is different, but for the writer, all you want to do is, all the site you want to see is your book in the hands of an experienced writer, an engaged reader. Thank you.